What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we do have my last final mock draft today. Started with number one. I gotta go to school soon, so I'm gonna do this quick, hopefully. Um, Number one, Caleb Williams, number one overall pick. Got the nails painted for today, so let's go, Caleb Williams. Number two, Jaden Daniels. I think today it's going to be up to, and I just read an article as well. It's going to be, or I just saw a headline. It's going to be between Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy's a smarter upside play if you want to build around him. You saw that with Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. But I think Jaden Daniels, they can get competitive right now if he goes and starts playing. The only thing with Jaden Daniels is that he is a quarterback that can get hurt, so make sure to keep him protected. Make sure they go their second and third guy are going to be linemen for him. So get Jaden Daniels a lineman there. Number three, JJ McCarthy. Everybody has him pretty high, and I think the Patriots will try. The Patriots I already read before. The Patriots, and this was before even trades and the offseason, that the Patriots didn't like. This was after the combine, but before the trades. And this was that the Patriots didn't really like Drake May. So I think JJ McCarthy is going to be the fit. If they don't go JJ, I think they'll go Michael Penix and trade down maybe a little. But I have JJ McCarthy in my last pick, so I think he's going to be that guy. He's a little bit more mobile than Michael Penix. Hasn't dealt with any injuries, so JJ McCarthy to the Patriots. Number four, Malik Nabers. He's my favorite number one overall wide receiver. He can be in the slot. He can be in the outside. He just has after the ball catch abilities, and that's why I have JJ McCarthy. Drew Malik Nabers for the number fourth overall pick. Number five, I have the Minnesota Vikings trading up. With the the Los Angeles Chargers. I think Drake May is the guy that needs a little bit more improving upon. I think Kevin McConnell can do this for Drake May, and I think that's going to be their franchise quarterback for another 5-10 years. Hopefully more than less for those Minnesota Vikings. And then the Chargers can get picks 11, 23, and on like a future second or something like that from Minnesota. I have the New York Giants. Because they got sniped with Drake May and the other three quarterbacks, they're going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody's projected number one overall wide receiver. I think this is just the guy. I just read something that they could go with Michael Penix Jr., but I think someone else will get Michael Penix, and we'll see that later on. And I think that's going to be my favorite pick. That's a sleeper pick for this draft. So Marvin Harrison Jr. to the New York Giants. Rome Odunze goes to the Tennessee Titans. This is probably going to be DeAndre Hopkins' last year as a wide receiver for Tennessee, and maybe as a wide receiver period in the NFL. So I think Rome Odunze, his rookie contract goes all the way for 4 to 5 years. They can extend him for a fifth-year option if they get him in the first round, the Tennessee Titans. But I think he'll learn a lot from DeAndre Hopkins, and I think he will be a lot of a better fit than an offensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans. Number 8, I have Byron Murphy. I heard this from John Middlecoff, and I think that Byron Murphy did have a lot of qualities that Aaron Donald did have on the Los Angeles Rams, and Aaron Donald was a was a defensive lineman that was like his size, and Morris was their coach, a defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. So that's their coach in Atlanta, and I think they'll go ahead and get Byron Murphy. What I think they should do, though, is they should trade down a little bit if they want this pick. Trade down to maybe maybe the Colts or someone like that. If the Colts want like a stud tight end, which is what I have in the next pick, is Brock Bowers is number 9 going to the Colts. I think the Colts, they won't go for a wide receiver, and I don't think they'll go Brian Thomas. I don't think they'll go like another one of these top wide receivers up here, because they're too far of a reach. But they do need tight end help, and their coach is an offensive minded guy, so I don't think that they'll go a cornerback either. They'll figure that out. They're gonna go Brock Bowers, and they're gonna snag it from the New York Jets. The New York Jets, they're gonna go the top offensive tackle, Joe Alt, at number 10. They should trade down also. So the Bears traded down from 9 to, I believe, 15, where the Colts are at, and they're going to go get a defensive tackle, but we'll get to that soon. And Joe Alt is number 10. I think, like I just said, Joe Alt is the projected number 1, but I think Joe Alt, his upside maybe isn't there because of his size, and because he didn't play as hard of competition. But I also think that just the New York Jets should get a guy that can play like Troy Fautanu from Washington, that could play inside and outside. But Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys said he's comfortable playing in the inside, so I think they're going to bump him inside and have Joe Alt be the left tackle for Aaron Rodgers. And I think, like I said, I think they should trade down and get Troy Fautanu, because they can also probably acquire a second round pick, and get a better wide receiver than in the 3rd round. J.C. Latham goes to the Los Angeles Chargers for Jim Harbaugh's first overall pick in 2024. I think this is just a fit. He's a right tackle. It's just a fit. He's a bigger lineman, I think 326 to 350, and he stands at 6'7", I believe, 6'7" or 6'8". So that's just he just looks like a more of a NFL lineman than Joe Alt, and I think Jim Harbaugh will like Joe Alt more. J.C. Latham more. So I have J.C. Latham going to the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 12, I have Dallas Turner going to the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams are going to be a prime team to jump up. They usually don't have the first pick, and they have a lot of picks, and they usually can develop players. So I think they're going to trade up with the Denver Broncos, give Sean Payton some more draft picks, and then that's a good place where Sean Payton can be, have good quality players still at pick number 19 instead of pick 12, and he can acquire more capital for this draft. So I think, and then this is the first end off the board. Not the first defensive player, but this is the first defensive end off the board in Dallas Turner. I think the Rams are gonna either go get Dallas Turner or Jared Verse, but I think they will trade up in this draft. And that's one of my other takes. I think that this draft is gonna have is they're gonna trade up and be aggressive. Quinyon Mitchell goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Really messing up on these names, sorry guys. But the Las Vegas Raiders get Quinyon Mitchell, the number 1 projected cornerback. I think this is just a guy that will fit in this new Antonio Pierce scheme and his defense, and he's a defensive coach. So I think Quinyon Mitchell will fit very well in the Raiders defense. Olu Fashanu, the New Orleans Saints really need offensive tackle, and I think this is just one of the picks that will be right on the money, essentially, because they need offensive tackle help with their guys hurt or not working out. So Olu Fashanu, and I like him personally. His body structure is more like an offensive tackle. So Olu Fashanu goes to the New Orleans Saints. Number 15, Jared Verse. So the Chicago Bears are able to pick up one of the top defensive tackles by also trading down with the Indianapolis Colts for Brock Bowers. And I think they also acquire a couple more picks. I had them trading a first. I had the Colts giving up a first, second, this year's first to trade, a second for this year, and I think a fifth or a sixth. And then I think I just gave back a third and like the first. So the pick swap in the first and then a third for a second and a sixth. So they get more capital, a couple players to develop. I don't think they'll be right in the mix for the playoffs. The Bears will be. The division will be hard though. I think they're a prime team to be in the mix next year for a deep playoff run. The Chicago Bears, but they get Jared Verse, and my favorite pass rusher this year. Terrion Arnold goes to the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a team that is going to be a team that wants to compete this year. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys or any of the other teams in the NFC East are a team that can compete with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I think there will just be a lot of misunderstandings in Dallas. Washington still has players to develop with all their guys that they're going to drop this year, and New York is still figuring out their quarterback situation, and the Giants. So I think the Eagles are going to get real happy that the second corner is still on the board, and they're going to go ahead and get him. I think this is the Seattle Seahawks pick, and the Seattle Seahawks are going to be a team that wants to trade down, acquire more picks. I gave up so the first and second. The Eagles gave up a first, their second, and I believe fifth round pick, and the Seahawks gave up a first and a third. So the 16th overall pick, they go down to the 22nd, and then they go up a third for a second and a fifth. So I think just more capital for the Seattle Seahawks is what they want, and the Eagles just want the best player available to them and Terrion Arnold, the cornerback. Cooper DeJean, I don't think the Jags like where they're at right there. They don't get the cornerback and Terrion Arnold. I think they can get another cornerback that they'll probably really like and that I really like, but people aren't that high on. And then I don't think Brian Thomas is that number one guy that they're looking for either. I think they can go get another wide receiver in the second or third round at the Jaguars, and so they can acquire more capital. Also, they're going to trade down with the Green Bay Packers, and the Green Bay Packers are going to get Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is a cornerback that I think will really fit in this in this Green Bay Packers defense. He can be placed anywhere if he wants to, and but I think he'll be a cornerback or a slot guy. The Cincinnati Bengals go ahead and pick up Brian Thomas Jr., an LSU wide receiver. So they're going to have LSU Joe Burrow, LSU Jamar Chase, and LSU Brian Thomas Jr. They're going to trade away possibly T. Higgins to the Jacksonville Jaguars for maybe a couple picks, and maybe another second that Jacksonville picked up from Green Bay. They can do that, that can go down, or they can get or they can ship off T. Higgins for someone else. But I think and get a guy on the defensive line, or a cornerback. But I think that's what they'll do. They'll go get the fourth best wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. I kind of liked him, but then I kind of didn't, so I was a little bit wishy-washy on him. I think the wide receiver that's coming out, Lacey, I believe, next year, he's a little bit better, and he was the actual number two wide receiver in back of Malik Neighbors that Jaden Daniels was really targeting. But I think Brian Thomas is a good big body wide receiver that can fill the need of T. Higgins' role in Cincinnati. So Cincinnati gets a wide receiver in Brian Thomas. Bo Nix goes to the Denver Broncos. I think everybody's just fitting this right here. Or Bo Nix to the Denver Broncos. I think Sean Payton wants Bo Nix, but I think he wants to trade down. So he's going to go trade down with the Los Angeles Rams like I had, and they're going to go pick up Bo Nix and more capital. So both teams are happy with this trade down. Number 20, Talisi Fuaga. So Talisi Fuaga, because of all these trades, Talisi Fuaga has dropped down. To me, I don't think his body's a little weird, and his arms don't look as big, and his legs don't look as big, and he has a big gut. Maybe that's just like the Samoan in him, but he just doesn't look like Olufashanu or J.C. Latham that looks like an offensive tackle. So maybe he's gonna bump inside. Who knows? But I think this is just the best player available for Pittsburgh, and that's who they're gonna get. I think Arizona, they have 2 firsts, they have 2 seconds, and I think 3 thirds. So 2, and then 3 thirds. So I think they're going to get aggressive with the Dolphins. Dolphins need another third, so they're going to trade a third to the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to trade their first, and then they're going to just pick swap with the Dolphins for their first round. And then the Dolphins are going to pick up a third. And the Arizona Cardinals get their defensive end, and Liatu is dropping down in the boards, but because of his injury. But I think if the Arizona Cardinals are aggressive in the first couple rounds, they can get things done and especially in the first round, they can get a lot of their needs met in a wide receiver, a cornerback. I think they just should trade up. If they don't get Liatu, they should trade up, go get Graham Barton, go get a cornerback. If a cornerback they really like is on the board, or go get a defensive tackle or get a defensive end. Or if Brian Thomas is there, get Brian Thomas as well, and really give Kyler Murray both LSU wide receivers. But I think Arizona should really be aggressive with their capital in the first 3 rounds and trade up their second pick up with a team that needs more capital. Number 22, Troy Fautanu really trickles down to the Seattle Seahawks, and they get lucky. Troy Fautanu is a guy that we hear knee injuries right now, so maybe it's something that Seattle wanted out. That Seattle wanted out, and so they can drop Seattle, and then that Troy Fautanu can drop to them as well. But if Troy Fautanu is available at 22 and they're able to get more draft picks, I think this is going to be a really good fit for Seattle and Ryan Grubb's offense. He knows how Troy Fautanu plays, and just he's going to be a dog. Number 23 overall pick goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the Chargers can also trade down here and get maybe another pick or so, but I think Kool-Aid McKinstry, there's maybe one other cornerback, but I think Kool-Aid is just a guy that he has good playing ability. He wasn't getting picked on as much as Terrion Arnold when I was watching game film, and I think he's just gonna fit a good piece. He's gonna be a good piece in that Jim Harbaugh defense. So I think the Los Angeles Chargers will get Kool-Aid McKinstry. And they fit a need in cornerback, so they'll get someone else like a wide receiver in Troy Franklin or something like that, or a linebacker if they need that, or a defensive end, and ship Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa off, but or a defensive tackle in the second round. But I think they should just go get cornerback, stick with 23, and go get a cornerback in Kool-Aid. Number 24, this is my favorite pick, and I think a pick that people are kind of sleeping on. Michael Penix Jr. drops. If he's here for the Dallas Cowboys, I think they're going to pick him up. Dak is on his last year, and I think after 10 years, like Romo, like these other guys, I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to go get their next quarterback in the future. I think when Jerry Jones was saying we're going all in, I think he's going to mean that we're going all in on the future with these young guys. He said with these young guys. So I think Michael Penix Jr. falling to the Dallas Cowboys will be something everybody's already looking forward to what Michael Penix Jr. will be doing. He's already has the hype, and I think he's already getting his name out there, which I think he's a really good quarterback. But I think the Dallas Cowboys and their brand will really push him to his highest potential. So I think if he sits back for a year and Dak doesn't do that good, they don't make the playoffs, Dak gets shipped off, and Michael Penix Jr. becomes the new Dallas Cowboys quarterback of the future. Nate Wiggins goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they traded with Green Bay and still got a really good cornerback. I think he played Xavier Legette really good. And he played, I believe, Malik Neighbors very good. Everyone was saying his tackling ability wasn't great. I didn't see that as much when I saw them play South Carolina, when I saw them playing South Carolina and when I saw them playing LSU, but I think Nate Wiggins is a cornerback that's getting slept on. I was kind of having him being pushed to the Arizona Cardinals, but I think he was just too good not to go to someone before 25. And I think and his size is really great as well. So I think this is just a good cornerback that the Jacksonville Jaguars will pick up. And then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go get Jackson Powers Johnson in for their center position. I think he's going to work out with Baker and be a good center for Baker Mayfield. He's going to help him out a lot, and Tampa Bay is going to try and push for another deep playoff run. If they get another maybe cornerback, linebacker, and they have a lot of capital as well, so they can, if they want to be aggressive, they're going to trade up with Jim Harbaugh for 23, snipe the Cowboys if the Cowboys are really looking at Jackson Powers Johnson, and then Jim Harbaugh can probably get Kool-Aid as well, or Nate Wiggins. Graham Barton goes to the Dolphins. Dolphins trade down, but they get a really versatile offensive lineman, offensive center, guard, maybe even tackle, but his arms are kind of short. But he did play in Duke, which is a really good team. Really good school, really competitive team. But Graham Barton, the Dolphins are able to pick up a third from Arizona and get a really good offensive lineman. Xavier Worthy. I think the Bills should go Xavier Worthy if they want a wide receiver. Xavier Worthy or Troy Franklin. I think those are really good guys that can be number 1 wide receivers or high-end number 2 wide receivers for the Bills. But I think they're going to go offense for Josh Allen, get him a wide receiver, because Stephon Diggs did leave the Bills to the Texans, and I think this is just a good fit for the Bills. I think everyone is saying Xavier Worthy to the Kansas City Chiefs, and this will be the Bills' way of saying, haha, we got you. So they're going to go get Xavier Worthy. And then I think that Xavier Worthy is a guy that the Lions might want also. So I think the Bills just stick and pick with Xavier Worthy. Number 29, we have Jerzon Newton going to the Lions. So the Lions aren't able to get a really stud cornerback, but they do get a really good defensive tackle that people like. I didn't see it as much, but I think he'll work out just fine, because they'll have Aiden. He'll just relieve some stress off Aiden Hutchinson and make the offensive line just focus more on him and not Aiden Hutchinson. So Aiden Hutchinson will have maybe a clearer path to the quarterback and get more sacks. So I think just more defensive line help for the Lions will be better off, and the Lions maybe can get aggressive in the second round and go get a good cornerback. Then number 30 overall, Amarius Mims drops because of everything now. Amarius Mims can probably go to the Dolphins, and we might get Graham Barton here in pick 30. So if you wanted to switch that, I would be totally okay. But Amarius Mims drops to Baltimore, and that's a really good pick for Baltimore. He needs a little bit of refining, but I think when I saw him, he was just fine. Maybe a little bit different than J.C. Latham, but his body structure is there in 6'7". Really nice arm length. His body structure is pretty set, big legs. So and he's, I think, like 350 or something like that. So that's a really good size for an offensive lineman and for Baltimore. Darius Robinson is a guy that I just couldn't get out of the first round. He's 6'5", lines up on the nose, interior defensive end. He can be a defensive end, a defensive tackle, a nose guard. Like I said, they just lost Chase Young, and I think they're gonna look for a pass rusher in the future, a line guy for the defensive line. And all the corners are off the board. So I think this guy is just the best player available. If I were the Seahawks, I would get this guy. But he's 6'5", almost 300 pounds, and he plays the run really well in what the NFC West likes to do. So Darius Robinson goes to the San Francisco 49ers. And to cap it all off, Jordan Morgan goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Kansas City Chiefs needs more help in their offensive line. They're always trying to make that offensive line better. But that's all my picks, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the draft. Go Caleb Williams. I hope all these guys succeed. All these guys, I think these are just the guys that fits well in their scheme, in their teams that they land to, and I just think all goes well tonight. And we just enjoy. What I did do, though, if you guys did notice, is the teams that traded out of the first round and got more picks, those are the teams that really need help maybe next year. So Chicago, Los Angeles, Seattle, Jacksonville, Miami. Those are guys that need guys later on. And besides Minnesota, Indianapolis, the Rams, Philadelphia, Green Bay, I think even Arizona will be a team, because they have so much capital, will be a team that will be trying to compete this year or next year. So all the teams that traded into the first round higher are teams that are going to want just a really good player for their team this year, and teams that traded out this year are teams that want more capital. But that's my opinion, and those are all my picks, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all those, and come back after the draft and we'll review what had went down. Thank you, guys. I'll see you.